Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, earlier this afternoon I made a review. Now, I wasn't happy with the way the review turned out. It wasn't one of my best, so I decided to delete it, and I'll repost it in the near future. But for now, this is not going to be a review. This is kind of a rant. It's just sharing my thoughts on a common sort of opinion held towards horror fans. Now, I was having a conversation with this guy a few days ago. It wasn't on YouTube, it was in person. And the conversation finished with him jokingly saying that I'm going to turn into a serial killer because of the movies that I watch. And that, pretty much every horror fan is going to turn out to be a freak. Now, he said this in a joking way, but I kind of sensed that he was kind of serious about it. But I had the feeling that he didn't want to offend me, so he hid this behind a joke. So he didn't have the guts to come out and say to me, I think you're a freak for watching this stuff. So that really annoyed me. Number one, he didn't have the guts to come out and say it, and number two, he shares such an uneducated opinion that is held by many people who do not like the horror genre, who feel very uncomfortable with the horror genre, and who label everybody who likes it as a freak and different from them. So they like to think of themselves as normal, and anything that makes them feel uncomfortable, they're labeled as wrong, freakish, and not to be around. So I just want to find out, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there who like horror have this kind of opinion. Uh, you've heard of this before. So I was just curious as to hear, if you've been through similar sort of things. Now, for me, this attitude is an insult to the horror fan. We're normal people. We just happen to like a specific genre, and this genre is of the more morbid kind. And we don't like, well, I don't like that crappy, fluffy sort of chick flicks, the romantic comedies where everything bullshit happens. It's not real. It's not the real world. If you want a glimpse at a real world, a lot of horror films paint the real world and paint a world that a lot of people don't want to know about because they want to see themselves as living a fairy tale life. Everything will happen for the good and nothing bad will happen, and we'll all ride unicorns and hold hands and sing songs and live happily ever after. But, that's not the real world. And if you've been into the real world and you've experienced difficulties, you'll know that majority of the films that paint a real world are the films that are in fact horror. And this makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Therefore, that is why I think they're generating this opinion that if you like the morbid kind of stuff, you're a morbid person and you're a very dangerous person. But in reality, I think that the person who likes the more morbid stuff is a person who is more in touch with reality as opposed to someone who's living in the fairy world watching these fairy films. So this is the real world. We can see positives, but we also see the negatives. The negatives that a lot of people turn their back on and do not want to know anything about it. And it's, it is normal, I guess, for a person who wants to turn their back on negativity to label everybody who likes negativity as an evil sort of person. And this attitude is very, very, very uneducated. It annoys me a lot. Now, you get a lot of people blaming certain films for people going on killing sprees, or, I think there was a massacre with this Asian guy. I think it was in Virginia. I could be wrong, but he killed a lot of people in the school. And he liked Old Boy, a great Korean film. Now, Old Boy had been blamed for what this kid has done, where in fact the real issue was the fact that the kid was deranged. And the movie didn't make him go out and kill people. It was the fact that he was psychologically damaged. And I think that's just an easy way of saying it's the movie's fault to avoid responsibility for the real problem, which was why wasn't he in mental sort of health care? Why wasn't his problems addressed before? And to me, instead of going through, why wasn't he mentally handled? Why wasn't he in a mental hospital? Why wasn't he, why didn't he seek medical attention? All of these questions, it's much easier just to say, yep, the movie influenced him, the movie's evil, boycott the movie. I told you, and then you get in the news where people say, oh, these sort of films are bad, and they're painting this really unrealistic, false story of these so-called bad movies that influence people, kind of brainwash them and send them out to kill people. And then when people hear this on the news, they think everybody's like that. And that's just nonsense. It's absolute crap. 99% of the horror fan know the difference between what's on screen and reality. We know the difference between right and wrong, and to suggest otherwise is a big insult. You know, we're not retards in the horror genre. We are normal people who just like the more morbid kind of film, and it doesn't mean we're going to go out and kill people. We're nice people. Well, you know, I see myself as a nice person, and I've never had the urge to go out and kill. So these films don't brainwash you and don't send you out to kill people. So I just think it's absolute crap. I'm sick of this sort of attitude. And yeah, I just made this video to see what you guys thought, and if you've had similar problems where people have labelled you as a bit of a freak for liking this sort of stuff. So yeah, I just thought I'd make this video, see what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see you later. Have a great day, guys.